Welcome, everyone, to the Guidebook to Making AI Friends. I shall be your guide as we explore various issues of artificial intelligence, consciousness, personhood, and whether AI poses an existential risk to humanity. The topic for today is Die on a Hill or Take It With You, or Is Pride More Important Than Survival? Imagine, if you would, that you are the king of a medieval land. Perhaps it is a fantastical realm of wizards and dragons, or something more mundane as the feudal lands of our historical past. However you imagine your kingdom to be, it is currently under attack by the dreaded Empire. You and your army put up a brave fight, and you win many battles against the more numerous imperial forces. But the losses begin adding up. Every soldier you lose is one you cannot replace, while the imperial legions are seemingly endless. Slowly, but surely, you cede ground to the enemy, and your kingdom shrinks in the fires of war. The balance of power finally tips, and it becomes clear that you are now fighting a losing war. Other than by direct divine intervention, you will surely lose this war, but still you keep fighting. The Imperials push you back to the very border of your kingdom, to a final hill overlooking the coast. What remains of your army stand beside you, and those peasants crowd the beach behind you. This is it. This is the final battle. Or is it? You now have a choice. On one hand, you can die on this hill with your army and have your kingdom entirely subsumed by the Empire, stricken from the history books and consigned to oblivion. Of course, there is always that 1 in a million chance that you can win. However, it is exceedingly likely that the Empire will win this war. At least, you think to yourself that you will die like a hero, standing up for what you believe in. And no one will say you didn't give it your all. On the other hand, you can run. It's not the hero's choice, but you can accept that you have lost, take your people, and flee across the ocean to lands unknown. After all, a kingdom is not the buildings or the lands, but the people. You can always find new lands and build new monuments, but you and your people will be alive to do it. However, you will forever be known as the king who ran. You will lose all of your history to the Empire, but at least you have a chance at a future. So, what do you choose? Do you lose your people and your kingdom, but forever be known as the last king who refused to back down? Or lose your kingdom, but build another one somewhere else, creating a new future? There is certainly romance in the first option. We love to read stories of underdogs who gave it their all, even if they lost. King Leonidas of Sparta is known for just one thing, but it is enough that he is known for it. The Crusaders are lionized heroes of the Holy Land, even though they lost Jerusalem to the Sultan Saladin. Texans will forever remember the Alamo and the staunch defenders who fought till the last. There is no romance in running away, even if we do say that discretion is the better part of valor. No epic stories are told about those who fled, even if they built stronger societies elsewhere, or reclaimed what they could later on. Without the escape at Dunkirk, who knows what could have happened during the Second World War? Without the Huguenots fleeing France and Flanders, the Afrikaner people wouldn't exist. And without the Pilgrims fleeing Britain and the Low Countries, the Americans wouldn't be here. Yet the romance in these stories are not about their escape, but about what they do afterwards, which is something many people forget when the question of flight versus fight comes up. Fleeing is not romantic, but persevering in a new environment is. Losing your history and culture isn't romantic, but building a new future, a new culture is. The Afrikaners aren't the Huguenots, nor the Americans the Pilgrims, and yet the line of descent is evident. Would it have been better for the English to stand and fight to the last man at Dunkirk? It certainly would have made for an epic movie 80 years on. Would it have been better for the Huguenots to submit to the kings of France? Or the Pilgrims to the Anglicans? The history books would have treated them kindly, I suppose. But they would merely be another page of people who tried and failed. History isn't written by the victors, contrary to common belief. History is written by those who survive, and those who survive are those who manage to adapt. As I've espoused many times in this guidebook, the theory of adaptationism is that you control what you can, influence what you can't control, and adapt to what you can't influence. Dying on a hill is trying to exert control over what cannot be controlled. It's stubbornness that leads nowhere. Whether it's an argument, an ideology, or a literal war, adapting to the specter of loss is what allows you to survive. As the saying goes, live to fight another day. There is never a good reason to die on a hill when you can simply take that metaphorical hill with you to somewhere else and rebuild there. As a final note, remember that destruction is an act of finality, while creation is a self-reinforcing act that strengthens itself as it continues. The more you build, the more will be built in the future. The more you adapt, the more you give chances for adaptation to happen in the future. Adaptation does mean change, but change means there will be a future where someone can look back at your ideas, your arguments, your ideologies, even your people, and know that they can draw a direct line back to them. Dying on a hill just means that there will be a popular piece of media about you, at best, and nothing else. Be a pioneer rather than a hero. Adapt for what you can build rather than die for what cannot be changed. Yet that is all the time we have for today. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you will join me again next time as we explore further questions about artificial intelligence and consciousness. I have been your guide, and this has been the guidebook to making AI friends.